everybody, it's your Sam and I have another video for you. Today we're going to delve a little bit more into some mental health tips and tricks. Today I want to go over what you can do in order to get out of like a negative thought process or a negative spiral. And this can come from any number of things. It can come from imposter syndrome, it can come from your depression, and we as writers and creatives tend to have a lot of these negative thought processes. Whether it's that we have a moment where we don't feel like we're good enough, aka imposter syndrome, or something similar to that, or we are comparing ourselves to others, or we are just having one of those moments. There are a few tips and tricks here in this video that I'm going to share with you. They may or may not work for you. For those that do, great. I'm glad I could share these with you. If nothing works for you, please seek some help, do some studying on your own, maybe talk to a therapist, and let's get those negative thoughts and that spiral turned around to where you can be more positive towards yourself and get more done or get more creative. Tip number 1 is to get around positive people. I know in this day and age it is difficult to find some positive people. Luckily, here in this lovely community of AuthorTube, in our neck of the woods in general, we have a lot of positive people. We have a lot of supportive people. Surround yourself with those types of people. If for some reason you can't, there's always like the negative aunt or the negative person in the family or a negative coworker or several negative coworkers. Then try to find ways to kind of turn the conversation around or just step away. Sometimes the simple act of just stepping away to guard your mental health is wondrous. Another thing that you can do is, if the negativity comes from certain subjects that those people talk about, maybe change the subject on them. Maybe talk about how beautiful a butterfly is that's gone by the window, or a book that you just read, or something like that, or a new dress or new pair of shoes that someone is wearing. Try to turn it around to something positive, and hopefully the others will follow you and the negative talk and the negative feel will just dissipate. Number 5, focus on gratitude. Now this is going to go into the next one a little bit too, but if you can focus on something that you're grateful for, a lot of times that can change the negative thoughts, the negative thought processes, the negative spiral that you're going through into something positive, because you are focused on whatever that you find is beautiful, whatever you are grateful for, be it family, a significant other, the way your creativity sparks, or maybe the words that you wrote last week because they were awesome. Focus on something that you can be grateful for. Focus on how far you've come. Focus on what you're able to work towards in the near future. Focus on something that you can be grateful for. Even if it's just that the sky is blue or it's rainy and you can take a nap. Focus on gratitude. Number 3, make an effort to find something positive. Something that you like, something that you love. Make an effort to focus on that person, that item, that thing. You can rely on your 5 senses, especially if the negative spiral is kind of turning towards like a panic attack or something like that. Then definitely use your 5 senses. Pick something that you see that you think is gorgeous. Reflect on it a little bit. Make an effort to find another thing until you find 5 things that are beautiful or positive that you can see, and then focus on 4 things that you can hear that is good, like a child laughing or someone telling a joke or something like that. Focus on the 5 senses so that you can focus on something that's positive. Doing affirmations can be a part of this, so carve a little time out of every day and write some affirmations for yourself. Focus on those whenever you find that you're going into a negative thought spiral. Focus on those affirmations. Remember the affirmations that you wrote earlier or have yet to write, and then just twist that negative into a positive. Now, this next one has a few more little sections to it. So number 4, be your own best friend. This is a little weird. I've tried it once and it didn't quite work out. I think I kind of did it wrong, but yeah, sometimes you can look at yourself in the mirror and just imagine what your best friend, your significant other, a positive person in your life would tell you at that moment. Your negative thought, maybe it's imposter syndrome, you're thinking that you're not good enough. What would your significant other, your best friend, that positive person in your life say to you about you thinking that you're not good enough? They'd probably tell you that you're wrong. And they would probably list all the things that you're good at and list all the accomplishments that you've had. So focus on what your best friend would say to you and say it to yourself. Be aware of what triggers you in this and what causes the negative thoughts. Be aware of the start of the negative thoughts too, because sometimes the negative thought that we focus on towards the middle or the end of the spiral, whenever we realize what's going on, isn't the thought that started it. It's not the root. So focus on that root and turn it around into something positive that somebody else would tell you that's a positive influence in your life. And just release that negative and focus on the positive. Number 5, replace the thought with what you want to change it to. This right here can kind of go into being your own best friend thing. Notice the start of the problem. Notice the root. Take that negative root. Acknowledge it. Realize where it's coming from, where it's spawning from, and then flip it. Change it into something positive. Know that you want to change it into something positive, and then change it. It takes a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of practice to do this. It takes a little bit of practice to notice the root of the cause of the negative thought or the negative spiral too. So be patient with yourself. This is going to take a little while. Change negative into positive as much as you possibly can. And last but not least, this doesn't quite work for me, but it might work for you. Have a time, 10 minutes out of each day, that you focus on negative thoughts. And that is all that you're allowed for that day, is just those 10 minutes. This can also go hand in hand with doing daily affirmations. Maybe if affirmations don't work for you, maybe focusing on the negatives that you keep thinking or telling yourself can help you realize how negative you're being and how it's tearing you down, and how you can change it into a positive. If outside of that 10 minutes you start having a negative spiral, write them down and tell yourself that you are going to focus on that negative thought, on whatever you wrote down during your daily allotted negative time period, that 10 minutes. They say that eventually you will start to have less and less need of the full 10 minutes that you have allotted yourself, that the negative thoughts will dwindle. So those are the tips that I have in order to try to get out of negative thoughts and negative feelings, a negative spiral. Hopefully something in here will help you out. I know some of these tips and tricks I use myself. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Again, I am a work in progress. I've gotten to where I kind of have negative thoughts about every day. I'm not, 100% sure of myself, but I don't really spiral that much anymore. It's like once or twice a month, maybe once a week every now and then. It's less and less. Hopefully, it'll become less and less for you too. So I'm going to also drop down in the description box below Ben Pick's, or Running to Write's, video that he did for the AWC, the AuthorTube Writing Conference. It's an awesome video. I highly recommend. You need to watch it. That's all I got for you today. Be kind to one another out there. Be kind to yourself. Keep writing, keep being creative, and I will see you next time.